All right, Joe, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Netflix She-Ra review of season one. I'm Joe Amato. I'm here with Nathan Kennedy. We have Zentron joining us in the chat room. This is a different time than normal, so I don't know how many people are actually going to be here live. But yes, we're here to talk about the new She-Ra Netflix cartoon. Now, the things you're not going to hear, obviously, when I'm doing this show, and I mean with Nathan doing this as well. At no point am I going to be insulting any fans who loved it or hated it. It's not going to happen here. It's not what we do because we all have opinions. Also, you're not going to hear me at any point talk about, boy, She-Ra doesn't have big boobs. It's something I didn't care about back then when I was watching the original She-Ra, and it's something I didn't care about this one because unlike what people make it seem to believe, people go by things that they might see on Twitter. A couple people where they said, it's just guys who hate it because She-Ra doesn't have big boobs. Well, let me just first say I belong to over 100 Masters of the Universe and Princess of Power groups on Facebook, so I'm not just finding random little pics and things here on Twitter. All the groups I go to, let me just say, men and women have said that, but that's not the vast majority of what's being said why people don't like it. So first, let's just get this out of the way for anybody that's new watching or listening, hearing from real hardcore fans of He-Man and She-Ra that no, it isn't just men that were babbling about boobs. It was men and women, but that's not the main focal point of what people maybe did or did not like about the cartoon. Again, I don't care about the boobs. I don't care about any sexualized anything. That's not what I watch She-Ra for. I watched a character that I wanted to. It's a role model. It's somebody you could look up to. It's a hero that you think, God, I hope she could save me if I was in trouble. That's somebody that you'd idolize. That if you were in danger, you'd wish She-Ra could come and save you and rescue you. That's what She-Ra meant to me. So I just wanted to get those little ramblings out of the way, and then what I'm going to be discussing along with Nathan, of course, his opinions, like of what he has and what he's thinking. But what I mean is, there's been a lot of things said even from the get go before the show started from people who have written for the new She-Ra show, animators, voice actors, to where they have said a lot of things in negative things about the stuff from the past, the cartoon, and not only the fans, but the cartoon, saying from cheap, lazy animation, campy, corny, horrible voice work, so many horrible things. I'm thinking, this is something that you think if you're in the industry, that's something you shouldn't say. You're supposed to be a little more professional. So why would you insult and kind of like piss all over the original just to promote your new show? There's no need to do that. When you have a new show, you promote it, you're proud of it, but you don't need to piss on the original of what, started it all. Just like when MYP came out. When that cartoon was coming out for He-Man, you didn't hear them say, oh, the original He-Man sucked and it was garbage and it was goofy and silly. But here, watch the new one, and this is why, because this is better, and this is better. They didn't do that. They just promoted, here comes the new He-Man cartoon, bam. You either loved it or hated it. That's how this should have been, and it's how it should have been promoted, but it wasn't. So from there, like I said, I wanted to ramble, get that out of the way, but we can start discussing about things, and Nathan and I both have watched all 13 episodes of season one. And like I said, we'll see what people say, what they think about it. And the thing is, I've seen from people also online who said they watched 1 or 2 episodes and they said, I hated it, but they didn't watch the rest. And also, I've seen a couple people watch 1 or 2 episodes and said, this is fantastic. It's like, no, I'm waiting until we watch. That's why I want to make sure Nathan watched it all and I did, because I want to give my opinion. Nobody can kick me in the nuts and say, hey, you didn't watch it all, so you can't say you loved it or hated it. We watched it all. But yeah. I will go to you, Nathan, and then we could just ramble back and forth.
All right. Well.
Also, let me just say, Rezkel, Fedmon, Zen Brown, and Markout Media all have joined us. So thank you for joining us in the chat room. Just want to acknowledge
and Zentron. You left out Zentron.
Oh, and Zentron. Sorry, but I thought I said at the beginning. I think I did right at the beginning. I said hello, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking hello to Zentron.
Maybe you did. I don't think you did.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm talking with my hands again. It's that half Italian thing. So I'll do this and I won't talk with my hands.
All right. So, you guys are starting to get used to seeing my face on this channel more and more as the weeks pass. But we are missing a third member, but there is a reason for that. As Joe mentioned before, some people watched 2 episodes, said they hated it. Joe and I, Joe's main purpose with this was he wanted to absorb it all, watch it all, and just give his thoughts on the whole thing, put it to rest for the most part. Tyler, we will go ahead and throw this out now. most of you guys know Tyler's stance on this whole thing anyway. He was dreading watching the first episode. He watched 16 minutes of the first episode and turned it off. And in the grand scheme of this, it's not really fair to you guys to check out the channel if he were to give an opinion on the entire thing based off of 16 minutes. So when Joe was like, I'm watching the whole thing, my original intent was to just watch the first 2-3 episodes and kind of just get a feel for it and be like, all right. But I don't know, something happened. I was just like, I'm not gonna abandon my friend. I'm not gonna let him endure this alone. So I watched the entire thing. We can go ahead and start breaking it down now if you'd like.
Okay.
I mean, my general opinion of the whole thing is I didn't dig it. It's the way that it's written, the way that it's presented clearly. I'm just like, the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like, the demographic, to me at least, that I could see having the most appeal would be girls from the ages of 5 to, let's say, 12 years old. I feel like most of that, I'm just watching, I'm just like, it's just not for me. Like what they're talking about here, and especially that prom episode and all of that, like none of this is for me. It's not appealing to me at all. And that's not a thing of like, well, I'm a dude and it's like, no, it's just through my eyes. And I'm going to say this too. You guys know that when it comes to Masters of the Universe, like I'm probably a step above a casual fan. I know character names. I can't recall episodes off the top of my head, but yes, I had the toys. I grew up watching it. When it came to She-Ra, however, I didn't really watch it. I didn't collect any of the She-Ra toys. It was kind of more like some of the other family members, cousins, stuff. I sort of pushed that aside. So I'm watching this strictly as just an open book of like, I'm not really paying attention to, well, they drastically changed this, drastically changed that. I'm looking at it of, this is the story that's presented. This is the animation that's here. And I couldn't get into it. Like the dialogue to me is just, it's
modern type vernacular. See, this is,
yes.
I guess that's what I wanted to get to. It's like you said now, sure, you could say almost all cartoons in some levels, you say, yeah, they're for kids. Because as you said, it's not for you, and you'll have a lot of people say that to you. Yeah, Nathan, this wasn't supposed to be made for you. It's supposed to be made for young girls. And that's what the new cartoon is. You'll have people say that.
Yeah.
And you could even, like, let's think about the original. Even people could say, hey, that was for girls. But you know what? It worked for everybody, whether you were a boy or a girl.
It did. I think their mindset when She-Ra was created is, it's like, all right, He-Man and Master of the Universe, it's really taken off. Let's try to find a way to sort of, tap into that like Barbie market. Let's get more of the girls in here, and they made something that would sort of appeal to them more. But yes, as you said, it was all encompassing.
Exactly.
And I didn't get that from this at all.
Yeah, because the old one, it brought in boys and girls, and it brought in people from all ages, because the way they spoke, remember, what separates He-Man and She-Ra, this is what I tried to explain, some of the critiques I had with the new one. Again, why just the vernacular and the way they speak wasn't for me. Original He-Man and She-Ra, remember, it's a fantasy world. It's Etheria, it's Eternia. They're not supposed to speak like they're from Earth. They're also not really, really young kids. They're like, like say 19 to 20s, and then become slightly older adults, but they're speaking different because they're in a fantasy world. Now, I said G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, even within the fantasy elements of all that and the craziness that is not going to happen in reality, it's still on Earth. So they can speak like they're on Earth because that's where they're at and you can relate to. But when you're writing a fantasy cartoon, you got to take that out. And I was so upset when I heard them saying stuff like, I know, right? And whatever, let's do this, jerk. And, oh, this is cool. I was like, God, but again, they are targeting for a younger generation. But I hate that they kind of, in a way, is this all they think kids would want? And I know that everybody will tell me, but Joe, this is what's hot. It's what everybody likes. Kids are into this stuff. Okay, sure. But why not try to challenge the minds of young kids and not treat them just as kids, but like young adults, like we were treated, to where we could use our imaginations to think, could we escape into this world of Etheria or Eternia? And it's a world like it doesn't exist. It's not here on Earth, but they're speaking in a different way. But it sure made you forget about the troubles of crap going around you. You know, if there was bad stuff in your life happening, and if there was bad stuff in the world happening, you could go to this world that's not Earth and escape for 30 minutes and just be relaxed and know that it's a battle of good versus evil, but good always saves the day. That hero is always going to be there to protect you. It was a safe place, because when they almost make it seem like what the original wasn't a safe and protected place, the original He-Man and She-Ra made me feel more safe and protected than anything I could ever imagine. So when they're claiming that's what this new cartoon is, I was like, did you watch the original? That's always been what it's about. But when you bring in the modern vernacular, that's what takes me out of it and upsets me. And sure, like I said, I understand they said it's for kids, but could they not have wrote it how it should have been, as a fantasy based? At least, if anything, sure, they're giggling all silly like crazy, like there's too much. If they think the original had a lot of humor or goofiness, this was over the top with the laughing, the annoying screaming of Bo's voice, and a lot of them, the goofy, over exaggerated eyes and the mouths that go up, and it's like, yeah, I know what you guys are trying to go for, but try to challenge the minds of kids, but they don't, because they brought in the vernacular and it upset me. So that took me out of it, because again, they'll say it's for kids, and you can say it for any cartoon, but I believe that the other ones, you know, the original, stood the test of time, along with a lot of cartoons, to where people could still connect. You don't feel like a kid watching the original He-Man and She-Ra or Transformers or anything, but this
Well,
one you kind of do.
I maybe part of that falls in line with when you look at those other shows, the way that those guys are drawn and the way they're presented. They're older. In this show, all of these guys are in their teens, if not a little bit younger. In the case of Frosta, who is what, 11 and 3/4 or something. Uh, I see it more of, it is what's hot, and it's kind of a thing that I guess maybe we can get some feedback in the chat throughout as we keep talking. I'm already seeing
Yeah,
like my 5-year-old daughter liked it. So if
that's good. Yeah.
I no, I could see the appeal of, like, here's a show that you could sit down with your kid. But as you said, it,
Okay, here's the
it
thing, Ethan. You know how they mock like people who are in their 30s or 40s for watching cartoons from the past? Like, why would you watch a kids cartoon?
right.
But half of them saying that are watching kids cartoons themselves. But it's like this one is definitely one that I really can't see anybody 30 years from now watching that cartoon and think, hey, it feels adult like, because it definitely didn't. And like when they're speaking of like emotion, like Rezkill said in the chat room, like, maybe too much emotion or thing that was in the show. Well, the thing is, even the original He-Man and She-Ra, there was a lot of emotion. There was those heartfelt moments. But the thing is, it was a beginning, middle, and end for each episode. See, what the writers and the creators for this new She-Ra did was they said the original She-Ra was one dimensional, had no growth. When you're saying that, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, now you better blow me away in this new cartoon, because I want to see this growth. Here's how it's tricky, where they make you think you're getting a lot of it. But here's the thing, it's 13 episodes, but it's a continued story arc that is going across a few days. The original She-Ra, think of Secret of the Sword, a movie, but then broken into 5 parts, where she learns about, just like in this one, she's working for the wrong side. She's going to find out about her destiny. She sees what the Horde is doing to all these innocent people, and it's wrong, and she wants to be on the right side of things and do the good. That's what happened in the original. That's what happened to this. But as She-Ra progressed, just like with He-Man and a lot of the cartoons, and cartoons even now, not all of them were story arcs, meaning it was always a beginning, middle, end to each episode, and everything was wrapped up. So it's not like you're seeing a constant continuity throughout 93 episodes. So she made it seem like when she was writing this, hey, you're going to see constant growth. It was basically 3 days or 4 days. In the original one, it was a few days for Secret of the Sword. But I watched the original She-Ra for, it's like it was going on for years. Yes, it was like 93 episodes, but it's like you could say that could have been going on for years and years and years. And there's still parts even within that where She-Ra has moments of growth, or you're seeing something great where you see a really heartfelt moment. I mean, think of this moment from My Friend, My Enemy, where, I don't know if you remember the episode, but it's the episode that Catra and Skeletor teamed up to make a Doomberry pie for Hordak. Hordak didn't know what he was getting. He got a pie at the beginning. He eats it, but it was a plot by Skeletor and Catra to basically take Hordak out of the picture, where this is going to make him disappear from existence. people still don't know, does it send them to another dimension, or when you disappear, are you just dead? But either way, they couldn't find a cure. Who wants to try to find a cure for Hordak? She-Ra. She's trying to help him. They take him back to the Rebel base in camp while he's disappearing, basically dying and sick. And she goes to Light Hope to find out what can save him. And Light Hope says the only thing that can save Hordak is for somebody to shed a tear for him out of compassion. Not a single member of the Horde would even do that for Hordak. They don't care. They basically want him to disappear and die. They thought maybe that Hordak's mentor, Noah, the one that trained Hordak with all his magic, maybe he would do it. Skeletor found out about that and then trapped Noah. But then when She-Ra got there, even Noah, he wasn't even going to shed a tear. He's like, no, he turned his back on me, did all this for evil. And when She-Ra seen that, she started crying. She cried out of this compassion. This enemy of hers, this one that wants to take her out. Hordak wants She-Ra gone. So Hordak's mortal enemy, shed a tear for him out of compassion. Couldn't believe that nobody would want to do anything for this man who's basically dying. Even though that's her enemy, she's crying for him. And she's like, even earlier, she's like, enemy or not, I don't want to see anybody suffer. That's a compassion. That's a trait of a character and a hero that you love and want to see. So you can't tell me there wasn't emotion. That's just one part. But there's a lot of emotion in the original that I wonder, do people really remember that when they watch that cartoon?
I would probably not. I mean, look, we've talked about it so much the last few months that that they just sort of glossed over it. They're like, all right, here's the characters. Well, we'll change this. We'll change that. Do you really think that they went like in depth? We're going to watch every episode. We're going to, yeah, no. And you don't get that from this. And it's part of the other trend. Yeah. It's 13 episodes. I kind of had the idea that it was just going to like just continuously like build off of one another and go through that. So I didn't really have much of a problem with that. My main problem was just like it does treat your audience like they are just kids and nothing else. Like they're not smarter than that. Right. Like it's just just that quick, like in the humor and exaggerated eyes, like you said, and it's just and there's a lot of just subtle stuff that they did because we talked about it before. Like, yes, obviously it's an all women writer's room and all this stuff, but there was some things that just popped up and I'm just like, really? I mean, you think about it, all of the male characters on this show are just like super flamboyant and almost just seem like the gay best friends. And not like there's anything wrong with that, but and that's like a Seinfeld quote, I guess. But
never watched Seinfeld.
But it seemed in a way that it's like, hey, did you see that? It's kind of like kids aren't going to pay attention to it, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, clearly it's been stated what the feelings and thoughts were going into making this, and to see it now presented that way, I'm just like, I mean, was it necessary? And then Hordak's just there for what, a few scenes throughout this entire thing, and then it's just like,
which his scenes, yes, he looks scary, but you can't say, wow, I love the show. Did you see Hordak? I'm like, yeah, I seen him for the whole 40 seconds too. Hey, did you see Imp? He was creepy. Yeah, I seen him for 20 seconds. It's like, that's not what the show is. Like, tell me a great story. Let's see something that's in depth. But also that diversity thing you speak of. It's like, did they watch the original He-Man and She-Ra? Did they not, especially She-Ra? I mean, it's always been diverse and it's always been powerful women with guys in there as well, but they're all treated equally, men and women. But when you think of He-Man and She-Ra, you think of, okay, they made it seem like there's never been black characters. I was like, okay, there's Natasha, there's Clamp Champ, there's Malakatha, there's Prince Daikon, there's Geldor, there's Garn, there's Zodak. It's like, have you watched any of these cartoons, read any in the mini comics, anything? There's always been diversity. Masters of the Universe, I can't say it enough, has always been about diversity. But the other thing is, it's fantasy. So looking back at me, all these damn creatures and beings, it's not Earth. It's this. It's a world of fantasy. So it's diverse to where, yes, they have people of all races that you can think of that, yes, Earth-wise, but then fantasy stuff. So this is what you get. It's like, and okay, I want to talk about the voice acting when you were speaking of something earlier. See, what annoyed me, the other thing is, the things that I'm saying, it's not stuff I'm making up. You can look at any of these interviews on YouTube. Is Marcus Scribner, who does the voice of Bo. They asked him, they said, did you watch any of the original She-Ra cartoon? He actually, his comment was, I watched a couple clips. Okay, so just like you said, great research. I'm glad you watched 2 clips. But he said, yeah, I remember the original Bo would say, She-Ra, let's go save the villagers. And like I said, that is exactly how he said, Bo said it. And I was like, all right, Marcus, show me the episode where he said it, because I guarantee you, he didn't say shit like that. He never spoke like that. What he spoke when he was speaking, it's a confident, suave, powerful, like almost all the characters, but it's in the realm of fantasy. The way Bo is speaking in this, Marcus is speaking how they're making him speak, obviously, with the, oh my God, oh, this is cool, and screaming. It's like, Marcus, if you want to talk about voice work, that voice work is making my ears bleed. But see, here's the thing. I'm still not going to insult you because that's the way they're making you speak. They want you to speak with modern vernacular for this cartoon. But for Marcus to insult the original one, I was like, why would you even do that? Again, you're the professional. Why piss on the role that you are now taking over? Couldn't you say, yes, I watched a couple clips of the original Bo, and he's a great character, and now this is my way they want me to portray him. He didn't do that, and that immediately upset me, and then that's why I'd come to the defense of, you got to know the context of what the original cartoon was when the way they were speaking in the fantasy realm and role, and it's their realm. That's how they speak. But I didn't know what you thought of just some of the voices. Even She-Ra, I was like, oh God, it just got to me.
It honestly just sounded like people in a booth.
Screaming half the time.
It just sounded like people in a booth reading their lines. Like the main way that I kind of worded this to Tyler when I texted him is it honestly just it could have been called anything else. Like the entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a She-Ra show. It feels like Wendy and her powerful friends. Like yeah. I feel like it's a, and you kind of see that in the plot. It's just the art. It's just plain the story, even over 13 episodes. Like, yes, it's like, all right, Adora and Catra are, oh man, they're sad that they're not friends anymore. It's just sort of paper thin, and it's just middle of the road. It's generic. I feel like if this had been called anything else, no one would care this much. It's because they plastered they plastered that brand on there. That's how it got all the attention that it did. And look, we're sitting here talking about it right now. If it would have been called Wendy and Her Powerful Friends, had the exact same setup with different names, no one would have cared.
No, and they wouldn't have. And you bring up a good point, because it's like a lot of people would want to say, I've said this before, and for anybody new into the chat room or listening to this in any other form, I always say, they said that the original fans, they can't get past Filmation, they can't, move on, they don't like accepting change. But I always said, but what about the MYP cartoon? When that came out, people lost their minds. They said, damn, look at this animation, look at this art, look at the stories. They kept it in the same realm of how the original Masters was, with the way they were speaking, but it was like a big upgrade in the animation. It does work. When you can do it right, yes, it will work. But this one, for me, it didn't work. And it's not me pissing over because it's She-Ra. It's just, no, it's not my thing. I've never been a fan of certain kinds of art. Like okay, here's the thing with anime. Yeah, I like some anime. But I don't feel like that anime style, for me personally, works for the He-Man She-Ra brand. It looks kind of off. Like, I've never been the fan of the over-exaggerated big eyes that then when they get excited, they get round and they sparkle. Or that lazy line for a nose and a line for a mouth. No cheekbone structure. See, here's the other thing. The people working on the new She-Ra show, instead of saying, yes, the original looked great, but here's our take. No, they said, the original one, it was cheap looking, lazy, didn't like the animation. I'm like, oh, here we go now. It's like, all right, let's talk about the animation. Sure, we know that the original He-Man and She-Ra reused a lot of the same animation, but She-Ra was lucky enough to where after He-Man ended, she received a lot more new, unique animation. But even within that, the animation that was used, even if it's reused, was still more frames per rate and still smooth looking, whereas this, It's quick, it flashes. It's like I don't even know what's happening half the time. The animation isn't as fluid. Just look at when She-Ra gets onto Swift Wind and flies away, when she lands, any of these things, when she does a kick, when she does a punch. There's so much great animation in that you know the original that it's like you guys you're fooling yourselves if you're saying the original didn't have great animation. It reused a lot, but it got new ones and it still was smooth. Also the art. Again, the faces of characters in the original She-Ra would look like as if you took a person of a regular scale and did their face where the eyes, nose, mouth are proportionate to the face. This one, it's anime style. Like I said, I've just never been a fan of the anime, but the background art, this is something I want everybody. Now, if you guys think I'm wrong, and I'm not saying agree with me, because again, if you liked it, great. Look at the background art of this new She-Ra, like when they're showing in Glimmer's bedroom, or when they're by a bush or a rock.
It's just plain. There's no detail.
It's that's it. It's like these giant thick lines for a bush or a rock slammed in the background, and it looks like it's overimposed, like it gets superimposed big, and it's a flat color, like one. It looks like, not being mean, it looks like a 5-year-old drew it. But then go back and look at the background art for the original She-Ra of all the details and the shading and the lighting from pipes to bushes. I was like, there is no comparison. So it's like, again, when I do this, it's because basically I'm defending the original from the people that are working on it showing disrespect. If they didn't do all that, I might not have said so much, but when they're doing that, it pisses me off. It's like, why are you insulting it? Just promote your new cartoon and be done with it. But I'm gonna defend the original animation, art, and look and everything. You bet I am. And for anybody, you just go back and watch it.
Well, I was gonna say it's just not a. It was not a good start to have it like they're kind of putting down the original. Like you kind of, it's one of those basic things. Know where you came from, right?
Yeah.
So
real quick, I just want to say for Zentron, oh, you're absolutely right. Yes, Fist of the North Star and Wicked City, and yes, there is great looking anime. In no way, like I said, am I putting down anime. Like I said, there's anime I do like. I just don't like the style for this, but this is lazy, quick crap. But you're right. Those freaking amazing. So was Castlevania. But back to you, Nathan.
No, it looked very, very plain. And Rezkel did say that the relationship between Catra and Adora was that was the main like for, and you know, like there were some things in the show as it was going on that I'm like, all right, it's fine, like whatever. But then you get to the prom episode, and that was almost a breaking point for me, honestly, because I was just like, I can't sit here and listen to just this catty dialogue of like, oh my god, I can't. Oh, it's like, no, it's like that's just.
It was like a soap opera. That's when I thought I was out of it. There was more talking in this than action. That's what took me out of it. I mean, Rezkel is correct. I mean, if anything, yes, that relationship of Adora and Catra, yeah, it's the main thing. See, here's the thing, but it's dragged out for 13 episodes. That's what I mean. It's like 13 episodes, which in a span of 5 days or whatever the hell it was. So it wasn't a year thing. It was bam, that's it. It's like, I wonder how could they handle if they were to do one-off episodes for this cartoon. That could have been something that would have been different to try, but you're dragging it out. It's like, see, it's the thing. It's like, is it binge watching then? You know, like, do you want to actually go back and watch all 13 episodes again? Or like, hey, I just want to watch this episode, part 5 or part 6. It's like, then you feel like you have to watch the rest, and sometimes you don't. It's like, I can go back and watch any episode of He-Man and She-Ra in its own standalone episode.
No, well, they don't make them like that, especially with the Netflix model. They just, I mean, think about Stranger Things. You know, if you were to go and watch Stranger Things, do you want to go and watch one specific episode? It's like, no, I kind of want to start from the beginning and just watch it all again. So yeah, I think that's part of the problem with that too, is it's just the binge watching culture. Like, how would this have been different if it was actually on TV and was just a weekly episodic show? Like, would they have still gone that direction? Would it have changed? Would it have been different in regards to how they told their story? But with this, yes, it drug out quite a bit, and it's like, oh, hey, here's another princess. Oh, hey, here's another princess. And
hey, I want to say, speaking of princesses, because we'll get to them too. You know, I mean, it's a perfect transition for a show that wants to talk about diversity and not doing stereotypes. Where, like I said, He-Man and She-Ra has always been about it, but I could just picture them sitting around in a meeting saying, okay, guys, we got Frosted. She's the cold character. What design should we use? And somebody holds up, like Melissa holds up her hand. Ooh, me. Let's make her an Eskimo. And they're like, that's a great idea. It's like, is that not the most damn stereotyping thing I've ever seen? It's like you take the only cold character and turn her into an Eskimo? I mean, for me, that's extremely racist from my opinion, but here's the other thing. Let's talk about design wise. You know why it looks stupid? Not because she's short, not because she's young. She's wearing a jacket. Now, let me express this to you again, because make sure I go through the point. So
I can see. I know, Joe. I can see you there. You got your TV, your TV dinner plate, and you got your chicken gizzards on it, and you're sitting there and you're like eating it, and then you see her.
Like, son of a bitch.
You're like, what is she? A jacket? That's it.
No, but really, because I always think because they want to mock some of the designs of the original, but I think of this, it's like it's a terrible design because here's the thing: when you're a character that has the power of cold flowing within you, heat is your weakness. So you're not going to put a jacket on to get warm. Just like a character that has heat flowing with them and powers is not going to want to get cold. It's their weakness. Now, for those that might say, but Joe, she still might get cold, so she might want to wear a jacket. Well, here's my point that I love to bring up. She, from her bare hands, is shooting out ice beams and powers and creating bridges and walls from her bare fingertips. If those fuckers were to do that, they would get frostbitten and break off in a second. So if anything, design-wise, why didn't you make some specialized gloves that she could wear so her fingers wouldn't break off? So they can't tell me, oh, she still might get cold. No, you just fucked up because you have her fingers bare. So I had to say that because it drove me nuts. I was like, she's wearing a jacket, but she has bare fingers shooting ice powers that would break off in a second. She's a fucking ice character. I can't say it enough. Ice is within her. She's not going to wear a jacket.
I didn't think about it that far.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? From that.
Yeah, I mean, it does. But now at this point, I'm just like, there were so many times when I was watching this that I just sort of zoned out, or I would just kind of pick up my phone and look at it. I'm still listening to it, but I just had to like break away from it because it just did not resonate with me at all. I'm trying to think of everybody here because I'm bad with names. Mermista. I definitely did not like the way she talked because it's just like
she was the one that did the Valley talk that drove
oh my god, I'm a bit there. I'm just like, what was the use for that? Other like,
they're just trying to bring in, like I said, a lot of the modern vernacular, and they had her talk like a Valley girl. It drove me nuts. You know, the one character that didn't get to shine a lot that could have looked like she would have been interesting. I was surprised Castaspella just got almost dismissed. You know, that's Glimmer's aunt, I think, in this cartoon. She was one that was like, hey, pretty cool design, but you didn't say shit from her. It's like, that just kind of annoyed me that she just kind of got banned. And
well,
yeah, right. I have a bad autofocus, so I'm going to sit.
I honestly didn't like her character because it's like, as soon as they show up, it's like, why aren't you wearing your sweater? Why don't you want to hang out with me? It was just a very narcissistic, like, I'm going to guilt trip the shit out of you kind of thing. And that's an immediate turn off to me. It's just, someone else said it in the chat, and I was thinking this too. It's like you pick some person that does fan fiction on Tumblr, and it's like, here you go, here's a show. That's the perfect example.
I didn't even know what the hell. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know you don't know what Tumblr is.
Tumblr, talking about it, and then when I went and seen, I was like, okay, I understand what they're talking about, because everybody kept saying this looks like it was made by Tumblr people for Tumblr people. I was like, I don't know what that is.
And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. I would say that is also another like demographic that I feel that this appeals to: young girls and the Tumblr fan fiction.
And you know what I found also interesting too, because the original, like I said, they'd have different body types. Let's get past the everybody was built the same and the same height. Glimmer was always smaller than She-Ra and the rest of them. They had different body types from Raz to the Twiggets, so there's always been different body types.
But Joe, they really had to make sure to hammer that home.
Yeah,
in this show.
And you know what really annoyed me though was that they took Raz, Madame Raz, and now she's just like a lunatic old lady that she had one episode. Broom is no longer her side character. Broom is an actual Broom. Lookie is like, she had a little fan with Lookie on it, and Lookie appeared in that prom episode as well, hiding. But I hated that they took a prominent character, a magic user, and they dismissed her as, now she's a joke. I'm like, okay, you took one of the most unique and diverse looking characters from the original cartoon and just basically said, forget her, we don't care about her, make her a lunatic that just babbles about the past.
And
What did
just
that
one
do?
episode, just
Yeah,
one and done. One and done.
and what upset me about that is, why wouldn't you want to flip the script on that? Why wouldn't you have wanted to take Madame Raz, who would screw up her magic in the past, but still was a main character, turn her into a badass character with super magic powers, is always nailing shit and doing a good job, and Broom could even have like some crazy attack where maybe he shoot his bristles out and like, to stun people, knock people out with like knockout bristles, anything, but instead of making her a new badass character, you took the most diverse one, the unique characters of the original, and turned her into just a rambling lunatic inside a little house with a broom. I thought that just annoyed me because Madame Raz was a prominent character in the original cartoon.
I I I don't really know how to respond to that.
Yeah,
It,
it's annoying. As with Swiftwind, I mean, Swiftwind now it was never a spirit; it was just Horsey who became Swiftwind, who flew away, and eventually comes back towards the
can
end. Oh,
can I say that that was the only part in this whole thing that actually made me chuckle a little bit was when Swift Wind came to be and just sort of like out of nowhere just popped in and like knocked out a horde trooper and then like went away and then came back and did it again. That was the only time I was just like, ha, all right, okay. And
yeah,
then that was it. I don't even think I smiled at all when I watched this
no,
whole
and
thing.
that's the thing. Just like the original cartoon, it had its humorous moments, but this one had its over the top, humorous, campy, corny stuff as well. But a lot of it, just the way they're laughing and speaking and screaming. And Shira, see, let me talk about the character of Shira. What annoyed me was when she would say, for the honor of Grayskull, okay, for the first time the main time when we seen the one transformation, we seen the extension of the neck, extension of the body, because she's now becoming 8 foot tall. Then the whole
Which, before you go any further on that, they're saying 8 foot tall, but when she's actually standing next to Bo and Glimmer at certain points, she's not really towering over them too much.
not in all of them. Some yes, some no, but that's just animation errors, which happens with every cartoon. But I do know what you mean. But so everything extends. Then she does the thing where the sword disappears, and you see it like coming up like this, and then suddenly the sword is back in her hand. Then she throws it up. Then she punches her hand. Then she grabs it again. It's like, okay, you guys are too busy with this transformation. You're trying to make it look so dramatic when the original was just so powerful, graceful, and just when you knew she was going to turn into She-Ra. When Adora did that when she said for the honor of Grayskull, you were like, oh shit, here we go. It's on. You got excited. You got chills. That music, the magic, the moments. This one, it never happened. And what did they start doing with the transformation? She would run off the screen doing it, yelling and being silly, and then you'd never see it. I was like, so you're taking away one of the most impactful moments that you would wait each day to watch as a kid for every episode to see. It's like an afterthought. And even the character of Shira herself, again, I never feel like she was this confident, strong, safe, this character that made me feel safe. It just felt like it was a kid turning into a bigger kid. And see, the thing is, like I said, when I was a kid, I had cartoons, like I said, you had Scooby Doo, you had Snoopy and Looney Tunes and all sorts of crazy stuff for fun, and those were the kiddie cartoons. But when I tuned into He Man and She-Ra, those were the times that, yeah, I wanted to feel like, man, you knew they were like adults, and they seemed like the adults, but they felt like, damn, that person would protect me. This She-Ra just came off as, to me, too silly, corny, jokey, and I never took her seriously. Not at any point. Her appearances were brief, far and few between, far between. And when she do something as quick, it was nothing. It took the last episode to see a lot of stuff going on, but all those episodes going up to it, it was like the character of She-Ra was almost like meaningless. It seemed like there was more focus on Glimmer half the time, and like even in the chat room with who was that said that Rezkel, yeah, Rezkel was talking about the just relationship with Adora and She-Ra. I mean, Adora and Ketra was like the main thing through the whole thing. But I just felt like the character She-Ra was just basically just disrespected as being almost an afterthought, which really annoyed me.
It made it seem too like she was just, and maybe this was the whole point of the thing, is she just seemed very I don't want to say whiny or anything like that, but certainly just, and I guess anyone thrust in this position would be as well with the way that they wrote it, just really unsure of herself. But it was to a point where it's like, I get it, like you're dealing with it. I don't.
Hey, Rezkel almost just nailed it right there. It was like Catcher was the star.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should call it
It
Catcher and the Evil Horde. It shouldn't even have been She-Ra and the Princess's Power. It should have been Catcher and the Evil Horde. Because she was. It's like, why am I almost rooting for Catra and Hordak? And these are the only characters that I want to like in the show is Catra and Hordak, and almost just not enjoying anybody else at all. It doesn't even make sense. It shouldn't be like that, but that's how it was.
Yeah. Can we talk about the theme song, because that's atrocious.
It's
It's just like, yeah, rah rah, girl power. I'm like, all right, cool, but it's like, it, do you
I
really
listen
have to
to one.
hammer that home
I hit
still?
the
Like,
I hit the skip button every time. Every time
oh,
that
all
part
right,
came where it was that, I listened to
yeah,
it
you
once.
skipped the intro. Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it one time. Listened, I was like, eh.
it's atrocious.
It just
That theme song is just, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's basically setting you up for, like, I might be reading too much into this, but based off of what they said and the writers' room deal and all that thing, it just seems like, you know what? This is a woman show. I'm like, all right, cool. But hey, whatever. Just
but we always, like I said, we've always known that. That never stopped anybody
yeah.
watching the original He-Man and She-Ra cartoon. We loved it. Anybody that watched He-Man, they love She-Ra too, and vice versa. You could love them both. You weren't a boy back then watching She-Ra feeling like, oh, I'm watching a girly cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a little kid, I watched Jim all the time, and
Jim
I
was
was
cool
just like,
too. Yeah.
yeah. But and Joe and I will probably stress this 20 more times. If you guys like this new show, that's perfectly fine.
It is. It is.
I'm not like, you know what, you're cast out. Get the hell out of here. No, if you liked it, cool. I'm just saying, like, I didn't. Nothing resonated with me. It felt plain. I connected to nothing when I watched this.
It's something. Oh, hello, Wiley Walt. First, I didn't know if I said hello to you in the chat room, but no, it's just like Nathan said. Yes, we're not here to insult any fans. To say if
No,
you loved or
not at
hate
all.
and tearing to you, no, it's your prerogative to love or hate. I just hate seeing the real vicious back and forths between two groups of characters that are picking on the ones that love it, picking on the ones that hate it, and it gets nasty. It's back and forth. It's not needed and necessary. It's like you don't need to pick on the people who do love it and say, "Oh, you like stupid new cartoons and crap," or say, "Oh, well, you don't like it because you're 30 or 40 and you're a guy and you can't grow up." It's like, just stop the back and forth. It's like you can love and hate anything. Like I said, I hated Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. I love this recent Halloween though. Yeah, this time I went to Halloween. Didn't
I
it?
was gonna say, I was like, I was just waiting for Joe to somehow turn all this into his review for Halloween 5.
It's something. And yeah, Halloween 5, damn good movie. But that's what I mean. There's people that will sit there and, just want to pick up, like I said, back and forth with people like this. But you got to understand, there's just properties and passions that people have for everything.
Absolutely.
To love and hate it. It's like the other thing, there's a site called Rotten Tomatoes. And when this show came out,
I like how you bring this up. Like the way you said it kind of makes it sound like, hey, you guys heard of this site? It's called Rotten Bananas or something. I don't know.
It's like I'm saying, have you guys heard of the internet? This is a new crazy thing people are doing.
You heard about that Windows 95? I hear it's gonna be good.
You bastard. So, but no. So here's the thing: we got Rotten Tomatoes, and when the She-Ra cartoon came out, you could see genuinely people that were giving reviews of loving or hating, genuine reviews. Then after 2-3 days, all you seen were these 5-star bots of all 5-star. That's when not only bots, but people basically just trying to jack up the rating for the sake of saying, let's just jack it up. And I'm sure along the same lines, there was a half stars, but if you go there now, trust me, you're going to see just pages of no comments, people that just created their account yesterday, all giving 5 stars just to boost the rate. Like, let the real fans, like how here in the chat room, everybody is being honest. That's what I love. For people that are loving it or hating it, but we're honest. I mean, like I said, we're all honest. We can get along. We can agree to disagree, but we're not going to get vicious with each other. And that's the one thing that I wish could end on both sides. Just stop the damn hating back and forth. It ain't necessary. If anything, that's what She-Ra and He-Man always taught us about getting along and treating others like we'd want to be treated.
I could see, like, as you're saying that, Tyler just pops in. It's like, no, Joe, you got it all wrong.
He's like, Joe,
I'm gonna flip this table.
That's what Tyler would do too. He's like, no, stand by your guns. If you hate it, you hate it. It's garbage. It's shit. It's not what they should be doing. And
No,
Joe, I
I
knew
could
you
see
were
if
going to do it. I knew you weren't going to give it all this,
yeah,
negative
he's
reviews.
gonna go back and check this out, and then just be like, I know exactly. I know you were gonna do it, Joe. I knew you were just gonna play it safe and everything. I will sit here and tell you my honest, genuine opinion of it was I did not like it. I thought it was pretty fucking bad. That's my opinion. I thought it was pretty fucking bad, just based off of it just ticked all the boxes of things. I'm just like, this is a turn off. I don't like that. I don't like that. But I watched it. That's the thing. I watched it.
No, and which is good. Like I said, I
Ugh.
just want to give honest reviews. Watch the entire thing, and it is, as they said, it's not for everybody. It's
Nope.
and if there are the people who love it, great. But no, I have no desire to go back to watch the whole 13 episodes again.
No.
It's just I don't want to. Hell, there's old Filmation episodes I don't want to watch again. There's new adventures that still. It's a chore to watch that damn New Adventures of He-Man. So see, listen to this, people. I'm talking about the past. New Adventures was never my thing. I didn't even know it existed. And when I finally seen it, I said, this is garbage. It took me 5 times to watch one episode, the first episode, because I kept falling asleep or saying this is garbage. But I tried to watch it more. It's like, it's kind of okay, but then still, no. I don't have a desire to keep wanting to watch New Adventures, which probably pissed Tyler off because he loves it. But again, people can love or hate New Adventures of He-Man. It just wasn't my thing. MYP, love that shit. I love the MYP cartoon. It's great. It has stinkers too, but I love that damn cartoon. So you can't say people can't grow. They can. It's just different ways that something can be presented. You're either going to love it or hate it, or hate it. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's all entertainment. It's if you like it, fine. If you don't, you move on, and that's what we're pretty much going to do after this. Is we've talked and we're going to continue talking, but when we're done with it, this entire thing just goes to rest. Now, I will ask you this: if a season 2 does get greenlit, are you going to watch that?
No.
Okay. You
Just
saw everything that you needed to see.
I
You're like,
needed
all
to,
right, I'm done.
unless here's the thing: somebody says, "I'd like to hear, have your opinion on it." Like the fans. If enough people said, "Joe,
Oh
watch it. We'd
yeah.
love to hear what
All
you think,"
right.
then I'd say, "Sure." But
Oh, well, I guess that's gonna happen then.
yeah, but
Because you know, everyone's just gonna be like, oh, all right, well, he doesn't have to. It's
yes,
like, no.
and I wanted to stress one thing: Modulok, me, I am not in that cartoon, or Modulok is not in it, and it is not voiced by Joe Amato to any degree because Dushin, who watches our show and is Grimbot in the chat room, he just did it as a joke 4 or 5 months ago. He went and it showed how easy IMDb could be edited, and hopefully now they can take it off. Is he put in Joe Amato as the voice actor for one episode for Modulok because I wear
still on there?
It is still on there. It's like, guys, that's not me. There is not Modulok is not in the show.
I'm looking that up right now. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
But even when I go to search it,
it's the first one I come up.
No, it pops up. It's Amy Carrero and Joe Amato.
Exactly. It's like I know I crack up every time. It's like it's not me.
And dude, you're one of the stars, man.
That's yeah.
It is funny though that he just took some actor whose name is Joe Amato,
and that's why it works, because there was an actor of Joe Amato, and so now when people see that face, they're like, "I know what you look like." It's like, it's not me. He's not in there at all. But so it just showed.
Man, what a handsome man. I didn't know that you were so gray, man.
Thank you. Like I said, I leave the mask on because I don't want everybody to get too excited seeing the mask off. So, that's why I keep it on. But, no, if people did ask for me to watch season 2 or something, yeah, I'd watch. Otherwise,
all right, well,
go on.
We're watching season 2 then, I guess.
Yeah, they probably will. I wanted to show one thing before we do a final wrap-up. My buddy Thomas Guerra, he was asking for people to draw some Transformers stuff. He's like, request, what would you want to see? I said, man, why don't you draw Canoe from Family Guy, the episode where they did a Transformer, a new character called Canoe. And I did it as a joke, but he drew it, and it looked cool as hell. And he was like, I'll send that to you, Joe. So I just am now going to you can't say unbox. What do I say? Unenvelope? What the fuck do I even say?
You're unboxing it. You're taking it out of its package.
Let's see what this looks like. Oh, that looks cool as hell. Thomas, I love it. This is Canoe from the Transformers clip. on Family Guy. It was hilarious. I don't know if you guys seen that. I know you're not a Family Guy character.
I'm not. I that
Yeah, it's a
you,
great damn cartoon. But
you
anyway,
speak. You speaking about shows that have jokes that just like run into the ground and run too long. Family Guy. There you
I
go.
love Family Guy. See, and if you guys hate Family Guy, let me know you hate it. I don't care. I love Family Guy, and if you hate it, that's no problem. But he did this character, yeah, because there was like somebody useless in the background, or so you just seen some guy, and he's like, yeah, he was like, well, if we get trouble in the rapids, I could be useful, and he transformed into just a little canoe. That shit had me cracking up, but it just shows you can make a character that's in the background look cool as hell. If they made a canoe exclusive figure, I'd buy that some bitch.
Joe, why don't you just make one?
I can't make a transformer. I can make a lot of things, but I can't make a transformer.
Well,
So
it doesn't have to transform in
yeah,
between canoe and just put them in like that style right there. You could do that.
yeah, I guess it could. But, yeah, so I just had to bring that up. But so thank you, Thomas, man. I really appreciate you did that because it was mainly just me just babbling as a joke. And when he actually drew it, and I was like, well, shit, he made it look so cool. I couldn't believe it. And he said he was going to send it to me. So I'll frame that sucker up. I got a frame for it. So thank you.
Did you did you like Shadow Weaver at all? I feel like if I was gonna lean towards really anybody that I thought was all
I
right,
miss
I would probably say Shadow Weaver out of everybody.
you know, the thing is, I miss her really spookier voice. Like this one was a little more gravelly. The design was a little but I mean, it's still cool. Like I said, that an evil character that can still seem evil. We're not seeing any goofy, over exaggerated eyes on Shadow Weaver or silly stuff, or from Hordak. You know, like I said, at least those two evil characters stayed evil, which that's what I do enjoy. And yes, in the original She-Man and She-Ra cartoon, yes, there's at times, of course, even Hordak could be presented as silly. But yes, I'll say Shadow Weaver wasn't bad, but I wish
Yeah,
the design was a little different, and I wish her voice was just a little more intimidating. It wasn't spooky enough. She just sounded deep talking and not mysterious and just freaky. Like that original Shadow Weaver, she fucking scared me. She's freaky. Like if I'd have seen that flying down the street or something, I'd probably shit my pants. This other one, yeah, it's like
yeah,
they're going somewhere with it. They're going somewhere with it.
yeah. I would say if anything came close to me of saying that I actually sort of liked something, then it would be that, I guess. Man, I'm disappointed that there wasn't more Hordak in it. I'm disappointed that we didn't get the rest of the Horde. Really, like yeah,
Well,
Grizzlor shows up and
yeah,
like two scenes.
yeah, Grizzler showed up. He never got name dropped, I don't believe. There is very touchy legal stuff about things. Like some people, even if they wanted to get super technical, could say Hordak in a way kind of doesn't belong because when you look at intellectual properties and who owns
Uh,
what, the She-Ra and Masters
gotcha.
universe is separate, and the evil Horde and Hordak is still under the Masters property.
Well, see that
But
in itself, when you break that down, just makes this all seem like a terrible idea. Like,
it just
why
shows your
half-ass that if you can't have everybody there that need to
yeah.
be there?
Yeah, it's strange. It's just yeah, it's a really sketchy thing when it comes to the damn property. So there's only certain characters that can really pop up. You never know if they'd get rights to be able to have the others, or if even rights could be taken away, and maybe Hordak wouldn't even be in the next season. I know a lot of stuff has been written out for multiple seasons, but things can change to one level or another. So you never know. So you don't know what's going to happen with the next season. But yeah, it's just I thought, like I said, we would finally give just our opinions, our reviews, and in no way cutting down any of the fans that are watching it. I was critiquing what I heard from people working on it, which really annoyed me because it's not professional for them to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have mentioned that. But again, you love it, great. You hate it, great. But like I said, just try to keep it cool in the communities and stuff, just
Yeah.
not like ripping people to shit and shreds. That's at all. I always say that, and that's from both
Well,
sides.
dude, we live in a world now with the internet culture that it's not possible for there to be peace. There's going to be, even if it's mostly all right, there's going to be that one person that just sort of sets fire to the whole thing and gets it started, you know? And
Yeah, and you got to
uh,
be open to criticism. This is something I've always said. It's like when you create anything, you know people are going to come at you, whether it's saying good or bad things.
yeah,
But shooting people down, it doesn't help because you learn from things. Like if somebody's saying something and they genuinely have an opinion,
right.
try to be open to what they say. Because like for me, as an example of making customs for a living, there was a guy that really loved trolling me. Like, a few years ago, he wouldn't stop. Anytime I posted a picture, he would just always say shit, crap, nonsense. Nope, don't like it. And I asked him one time. I said, "What is it you don't like about my customs?" And he didn't reply. And I said, really? I said, I'm just wanting to know. He's like, what? If people don't like your customs, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And I said, no. I said, I want you to honestly tell me what you didn't like about this custom because I would like to know. Maybe there's something I could change about it. The guy stopped talking. He never posted again, and then he blocked me from saying that. But I'm open. I want to know if you're criticizing something.
Yeah.
Let me know how I can make it better.
And I like when I started doing the shows with you guys, not only on here, but when I started doing Beyond Retro with you, my head was there as well. I'm just like, all right, I'm putting myself out there to the internet. So any of these guys, like, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure at some point we're gonna come across someone and it's like, well, Joe, take off the mask. Nathan, your teeth are fucked up or something, you know. And,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
I've
might
had
be,
that.
they might just be like really shitty. And I mean, whatever. I'm not the kind of person that's going to take offense to anything. Like, oh my god, how dare you say that? Like, whatever. Like, I know this because I'm putting myself out there to everybody. I am open to you guys thinking what you want of me. That's your opinion, and that's cool. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just be like, oh well, how dare you? Because whatever. That's
No,
what
it,
you
no,
think.
it is, and it's what people think. I mean, even when I would get insults, like, somebody said it's like there's somebody that listened to this show and they called me gimp face, and they said that's why I wear a mask, and they call me gimp face, and I was like, people say what they want, and then some
Yeah.
people say I hide because I'm a coward. That's why I wear a mask, but. It's a gimmick. People know me from Facebook for years now. It's just what I do. I just don't show myself. I'm not saying I look like, hey, I'm the sexiest looking guy in the world, or I look like I get hit with a bag of nickels. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just,
A
I just,
bag of nickels. Well,
well, I got.
I guess nickels would hurt more because they are thicker than quarters, right?
You remember that episode? It was in Living Color where Benita Betrell was like sitting up on stand and she was talking about people. She said, "Mm-hmm, looks so ugly." He was like, "What did she say?" He's like, "Yeah, he's so ugly, looking like he got hit with a bag of nickels." And I don't know, it just cracked me up. Old in Living Color episodes. I'm always watching that. I recorded them all. I have them on DVD, but at least I have them on VHS. I can't watch the VHSs no more, but I can watch the DVDs. But
Joe, just go to Goodwill and you will find a VCR. I promise
I
you.
should because I could watch it
Just
in
do it.
original
You will
color.
find one. And you
Yeah,
won't even have to pay much for it. But I mean, even Rezkel said here is like this was good, even if I don't agree. So many others were pretty nasty about it, and I'm just like, it's like, what's the point in the grand scheme of things? What's the point in arguing about this? Like, it's a cartoon. And
mm-hmm.
yes, I understand the passions that side. I understand this side wanting to defend it from this side. Whatever. At the end of the day, it's a cartoon. Like,
Yeah. Anything you could say at the end of the day, anything could be whether it's
yes,
just food, it's just a movie, it's a cartoon.
and it's hard not to do that. How many times have we all been at our jobs and been really frustrated with something that's going on in the day, and it pisses us off so much, and we think we've never been madder,
Mm-hmm.
and then months go by, and you can't even remember like that exact stuff it's just I
Yeah,
don't.
it's just called life. It's
It's
like I said, man.
human nature.
It's
Human nature.
it's human nature, and it's from every level. It's like just really, you can take things with a passion, get passionate about it, but don't take them to a serious level to where it has to go too far. It's like
Yeah.
there's people that have probably ruined friendships, relationships with a significant other, family members over some of the most petty, stupid things. And think about what if there was this person you haven't talked to in years and you just heard, like the next day that this person got hit by a car and is dead. What would that do to you thinking, God, I've been holding a stupid grudge over nonsense for 2, 3 years and I can never speak with that person again.
Yeah.
It makes you think just really
Yeah.
let this shit go. If there's goofy arguments, let that stuff go.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
it's good to be upset about things, especially in regards to like, all right, you took something that I really liked and you changed it up a bit, but you even if you don't have a problem with the changes, there was no follow up to it. There's nothing that made you feel like, all right, well, they nailed it. And this felt like it just missed the mark totally. And to me, this is coming from someone that's just sort of like hovered over these properties, like being into them, kind of forgetting mostly about it. But with Shira, especially, I said before, I didn't. So I could go into this and just be like, you know what? These changes don't bother me. That doesn't bother me.
yeah, it's different for everybody. Like in the chat room, like I would just like to know if you guys could just Either say, did you like it? Yes or no. Or just say, like it, didn't like it. I'm just curious where everybody in the chat room would say, because I think almost everybody might have liked it. You never know. I know at least Reskel, definitely I know Reskel liked it, and others might have liked it parts and parts they didn't like. But it's just always interesting to see what others think as well. But again,
And I guess too, we'll throw this out there as sort of a little experiment. Those of you that didn't like it, specify if you watched the entire thing. If you only, how many episodes did you
yeah,
watch?
yeah, yeah,
Because
it would be interesting.
it'd be a good gauge, and I guess kind of why they're filling that up in the chat room. What were your thoughts on Entrapta? Because
I almost felt like they were mocking people that might. I don't know. I felt like there was just being some mocking of people with maybe a disability. Something wasn't right. I didn't. She could have been interesting, but I almost felt like they're mocking somebody, which I never like seeing people getting made fun of. I didn't know if I took that the wrong way. I hope I didn't, but I felt like they're making fun of somebody, and it just I don't know, something felt off. I mean,
like like she's very eccentric, and they're just sort of like playing on it, like
something. I got a weird vibe. I liked that she could create stuff, which was cool, but I got a weird vibe out of her, and I don't know. But oh well, so far let's see. Zen Brown said no like. Rezkel loved it. Zentron said they probably made it because they were going to lose the rights to the property if they didn't make it. Fedmon said I know. Oh wait, they were talking about the VCRs. Never mind. Well, I will look for Walmart to see for VCRs. Thanks for that.
yeah, but do they though? I remember they did at one point because it was like the DVD combos. Like you could get a DVD player with a VCR together, but do they? I feel like too much time has passed that Walmart wouldn't sell
Oh, maybe they would. I wish
VCRs
they
anymore.
would because I need it so I can watch my old stuff. Some of my old tapes. I've got like probably 30 tapes of old WWF wrestling and WCW. I got some of the good stuff from back in the old days. Oh god, like I'm 100 years old, but you know what I mean.
I mean that was 20, 30 some odd years ago.
Yeah,
So.
Zen Brown said didn't watch it all. He said you watch they win.
And he's got a good point there. You know,
Sure.
you and I watched the entire thing. That helps with the ratings of how.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I don't know how Netflix sort of looks at this whole thing.
I don't know how the ratings works either. But Rezkel said also went back and watched the original again. Zentron said design wise didn't really enjoy Entrapta or Entrapta. God, I couldn't even say that right. And
he didn't get past Princess Prom. That's a make it or break it for you. If you can make it past that, then you can watch the rest of it with ease. But that one's tough. That one was so tough to get through because I was explaining it to Tyler. I was like, yeah, it happens every decade, and Scorpio got an invite, so Catra's going to go as the +1, and Catra's in a like a suit like a dude, and he's sitting there just staring at me like, what? I was like, you would.
Well, yeah. Like I said, that's why we had to do this. I mean, Tyler just watched 16 minutes of the first episode. I was like, yeah, whether Nathan was going to join me or not, I was going to do it. But I just wanted to, like I said, give my opinions and thoughts, and loved having everybody here with their opinions and thoughts. Like I said, just keeping it simple is what I always love. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. But I didn't know if you had any final thoughts, Nathan, before we wrap it up. But yeah, it's been fun. It was.
I mean, do you have any final thoughts?
I actually no, I think I pretty much wrapped up. It's just
okay. I'll just say, I'll say again, it just to me, it felt like another cartoon that they just slapped the brand on. Like it's generic. You can see that in the art. The story's just it's there. Like it's a simple story. Like I wasn't expecting more than that, to be honest, but it all just fell flat. If they get a season 2, if it did well, cool. If it helps promote the property itself, if it draws interest to the original, if it helps bring out more products from the original, I'm all for it. I think if it gets nasty and it just gets worse, if it's the creative end of things continue to like just hammer that down of like, this is our agenda for this, and if you don't like it, then you are against us kind of thing. The whole feminist stuff. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes from here. How does this affect He-Man even? Where do they go from there? If they're like, this worked, maybe we should put out our own and kind of go in this way. Like, what is that going to do? So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. And Zentron is giving us a movie quote,
Okay.
oddly enough.
Okay.
Hey, where the white women at? I feel like I've heard that
I
before.
feel like I heard that in Blazing Saddles. It's an old movie, but I remember that in Blazing Saddles. Uh, I almost thought that was even said in oh Jesus, was that said in White?
You know what? I think you got it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, like I said,
I think you got it. Zentron, you confirm. I looked it up and it did bring it up that way. But
yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what he says. And Reskel, no, I mean, yeah, it was good that you joined us as well. And I hope, like I said, I mean, if you're new to our channel and anything, to make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, because we'll be doing an episode tomorrow too, where we'll be speaking with Robbie London, who worked on the original He-Man cartoon. So we always have fun discussions, and it's always great just having any new people here to our channel and just seeing what they think and their thoughts. We love having new people, so it'll be great. And let me see, did he say? Oh, he said yeah, so I got it right.
well, there you go.
All right.
I think the key is, I don't know what the key is. Oh Jesus!
Well,
I'm still just trying to wrap my head around the fact that I sat down and watched this entire
well, at
thing.
least you did it, and you gave it a fair chance, whether you
Yeah,
loved or hated, and you didn't just watch one or two episodes and say I hated it, or one and two episodes and say I love it. It actually has gone both ways from different sides. So
but that Princess Prom, that is, oddly enough, it's just right there. I feel smack dab in the middle of. It's right there. I think it's like episode
you
7 or 8. So
you
it's
want to
like,
hear a silly thing? I think the reason I got excited about the prom was just because I think I seen Lookie, because I didn't know if he was going to show up. And there was a thing. Just this is going to sound. It's a flashback. Me and my mom used to compete back in the day when we watched She-Ra of trying to find Lookie. And she would beat me almost every time. It's like, there he is, there he is. And I always had an issue finding him when he'd be around these one colorful things that looked like him, like these bushes. I could never win. So as crazy as it sounds, as I was watching She-Ra, I was like, is Lookie going to appear more than just being that fan of Madame Raz? And when he popped up in the prom, I was like, there's Lookie. So I got to have an old moment like I used to have with my mom, but God rest her soul, I was just, well, it was me just competing with myself. But I found Lookie. So,
oh
but
man, yeah. Zim Brown's like, Nathan is flabbergasted. Yeah, like it kind of took a lot out of me. I'm not gonna lie, because that dialogue is just not for me. That's not what I want in any of my media, video games, movies, TV shows. Now, in this, it's fine in its context for what it's trying to reach, and that's not me.
let me
So,
guess, are you the guy that if you'd play a role playing game when they were talking at the beginning, you just hit start past the intro, like, let's go right to the game. I don't want to hear anybody
you
talk.
know what? I am kind of I'm in that mentality now. Games so much, it's like, all right, we have to have this prologue. It's gotta now. It works in Red Dead too. I'm not gonna lie about that. But there's just so many things. I'm just like, do I really need to see this? And sometimes, yes, I do just skip over that.
Thought you were gonna say that. So,
Yeah,
well,
you're about to get me on a rant about video games now and how much it pisses me off because I bought, huh?
Go ahead.
Well, it kind of looked like you're about to stop me.
Oh no. Well, I
Uh,
don't know. I gotta quit talking. My hand's gone.
um, I bought Emily the Spyro remastered trilogy. They took the original 3 games on PlayStation and like redid them up and everything. And I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna play them with her because Spyro came out in 1998. At this time, I'm 14.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be playing no Spyro on my PlayStation. I'm looking at like the wrestling games or Metal Gear Solid or shit like that. So I'm not like, that's kiddie, whatever. So I go to install this thing, and just every time I miss the days of, hey, you know what? You go buy a game, you come home, you put it in your console, and you know what happens? The game starts. This is, you put the disc in. Oh, I don't have enough room. Oh, I guess I got to delete some stuff off my hard drive. Delete. And yes, I know people are going to be like, well, you can get an external drive to put the saves on. I get that. And I'm going to have to do that because this is really starting to get annoying. But not enough space. All right, delete some more stuff. Go back, resume the update that it needs to do. Still not enough space. And it keeps giving me different numbers each time. The first time it's like, you need 3.68 gigs. All right, well, here's something of this size. That's out of here. You got to get rid of 14 gigs. What? All right. Fuck. I guess I'll just go and delete this. I had to delete like 3 or 4 different games, and it finally started going, and the install's like 19 gigs. And I'm like, all right, I guess we're playing the game tomorrow. It sucks. It sucks. I
So
hate
here's
it.
my dumb question, because I told you I haven't played games in years, and I'm not going to go on the rant about how I, used to be one of the best in the world. I'm not going to do that because I don't
Oh
do
yeah.
anything about video games.
Hey, by the
But
way, you see the Spider-Man jacket over
yeah,
here?
Speaking of Spider-Man jacket, it was a second place prize. And you hear about the Sonic Adventure with the Dreamcast that was #1 in the United States, #2 in the world out of millions of people that were playing that game back in the day. You ain't gonna hear that from me neither. But no, I haven't played any of the new stuff. So don't they have memory cards anymore to where you can?
No.
Oh my!
No, memory cards are not a thing. This is basically you get console-wise. Now, this PC here, I understand now why people are just like, all right, I'm part of the PC master race because I can go on Steam, buy a game, download it, and then I'm ready to go. I don't have to delete anything. But with the consoles, it's they vary in their sizes. But my PS4 is 500 gigabytes, and they have 1 terabyte ones now. But yeah, no memory cards, and any of the stuff that I've purchased.
I mean, that's not. What if you buy a bunch of games? I mean, you can't have all the games.
Well, I mean, memory cards back then were mostly just for the save files. This is to actually just have the game on there. So it basically needs to install the game itself. Like it grabs some of it from the disc, of course.
Guys, it's been 10 years. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since I played games.
Old man Joe over here.
And I used to be, God, I was great. Oh my God.
But it's just a lot of work. And then there's day one patches and updates constantly. Like
my head hurts. I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. It actually is almost exploded from what you said.
All right. Well,
yeah,
it was a pleasure to sit here and just sort of discuss this and sort of just give our opinions. I know we probably could have gone a little more in depth and went sort of episode by episode and talked about everything, but it was good to just sort of give a general impression, our general ideas, our thoughts on designs and choices that were made, and pretty much mostly what we didn't like because there wasn't much that we did.
Gave our thoughts, got people's thoughts here in the chat room. Like I said, still had a good time. And like I said, hopefully everybody that's here will still join us tomorrow and join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. live on YouTube. That's Eastern time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Watch Fans of Power. And of course, tomorrow we'll be doing Beyond Retro, and that's going to be at 2 p.m. And that's going to be here live on YouTube. And that's Eastern time as well. We're going to be talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So we're covering, when we do Beyond Retro, we do everything from video games to movies to toys to whatever the hell it is, anything. But yeah,
I don't even need to do the ending spiel anymore. You already did it.
Well, yeah, I did all I said about the like and subscribe and share and ringing that bell so you can always be notified when we go live with anything and have new content. You always know when it's going to happen. So loved having every one of you guys here in the chat room. And until next time, have a powerful day.
I don't have a movie quote like Tyler does, so I'm just going to say, see you guys later.
Can you do a video game trivia? Can you do something? You guys
video game?
Something.
Joe, you put me on the spot.
He's like, damn it, no.
Shit, man, I got nothing.
All right, that's a good way to end it. Shit,
I got nothing. Tyler's gonna be so mad at us.
Yeah, he is. See you guys next time.
See you guys.
All right.